Today, on Be Something Wonderful, this technique manifests your new life shockingly fast. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. I have a big video today. I want to talk about this client. First-time client has been a subscriber on the channel and just wanted to tell me about his new life, right? He moved out from his parents' house. He's got a great social life. He's got a job he loves. And he said, Tom, it all changed when I stopped focusing on trying to reprogram my subconscious or trying to find beliefs that were blocking me, subconscious beliefs. He goes, you've talked about that in many videos. He goes, but it was the videos about telling your new story that really changed it for me, right? He really grasped this idea that it's not really so much about reprogramming your subconscious mind or finding something that's blocking you, because the only thing that's ever blocking you from your new life is the story that you're not there yet, that you're not in your new life. Hear this again. It releases all blocks, because as you tell a new story, that must be your new life, because you are the subconscious mind. In other words, you are a center of that divine subconscious mind, or that great I am, or the great subconscious. Right? But when you believe that you're being blocked, or believe that there's something you've got to fix or find, then you're declaring that you're not the center, that there's something outside of you blocking you. And it's only your story that's ever blocking you. There's, again, affirmations, a state akin to sleep. All the processes are powerful. And they're all going to move you there, but there's nothing more powerful than the story you're telling, because you are the story. You are the subconscious mind. There's just one consciousness. There's just one mind. There's one God, and you are it. I am God and there is no other. It can't get any more clearer than that, what the ancients told us. And your mind is the divine center in that one mind, or that one great consciousness. Right? Remember, subconscious, consciousness, superconsciousness, these are all divisions that we make, but there's no division, right? They're just different aspects of that one mind. And you're at the center of that great one mind, that great, what we call the great subconscious, or the great I am. So it's not about reprogramming all that is, or God. It's deciding what's your place in the divine mind. Where's your neighborhood in the divine mind? Right? That's all reprogram's talking about, changing your subjective tendencies, right? The things that happened to you in the past, who you believe you are now, based on your past, based on things you've experienced, based on all the thoughts and feelings that you've had in your life. But remember, you're at the center. That's what it means to be the operant power of all that is. But if you're over here, or here, or here, or here, saying, I am not, then you're not seeing yourself as that operant power, as the divine center. That's when we believe that we have to reprogram things and find things that are blocking us. Because you're telling the story that I am not that person I want to be yet. You're not putting yourself at the center where you are always, but you create the illusion, or the idea, or the image that you're not at the center, that you're not who you want to be yet. Do you see this? What you imagine, assume, and affirm is the only reality. Your story is God's story. That's the only story there is. Your story is God's story. You are the center. There's no division of that divine mind. But when you think you're not at the center, when you think you're here, 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 or here, fighting with that subconscious, fighting with what's happened in your past, fighting with the conditions, fighting with the world or the others, trying to change things, and not knowing that you are the conscious mind. I and the Father are one. There's no separation with any of this. The Father is greater than I am, that I am possibly aware of at any one moment, but there's no separation. And I'm the operant power of that divine mind, of that great subconscious mind or conscious mind, right? That great consciousness, that great I am awareness, right? Remember, what is the difference between what's subconscious? Subconsciousness means below awareness or subject to your conscious decision or story that you're telling about your life. Keep this in mind as we go through this. If you're not telling your I am story, then someone or someone else is. And what is that someone or someone else? I've said this before. It's your past. It's the others. It's the world around you. You allow the past subjective tendencies to tell your story. Do you see it? When you believe you're here, or here, or here, or here, or here, you're allowing others, the world, these subjective tendencies, what happened to you in the past, what's happening out there, to tell your story. And that's why it feels like nothing's changing. Instead, put yourself at the center. That's where you are anyway. Tell it from that I am center, that I am reality. I am all that is. I am God and there is no other, right? You allow the middle, the past thoughts, the feelings, the other people, events, and circumstances to tell your story. This is why I've talked about the messy middle in the ancients talking about the excluded middle, the secret of the excluded middle. I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I'm the first and last. That's what Jesus meant. I am the Alpha and Omega, I am all of it. I am not this middle. The middle is an experience that we create. And you can either create that experience from fulfillment, that you are all that is, that you're the center, or from non-fulfillment, feeling like you're not fulfilled, feeling like you've got to move here or here or here, and you never find fulfillment there in the middle. Fulfillment's only at the beginning and the end, because the middle is the experience, and you get to determine whether that's an experience of lack or love, of fulfillment or non-fulfillment. You get to determine all of that. So you allow that middle, right, to tell your story. And then, or you fear excluding, you have fear of excluding the middle because you fear losing your identity, of not existing. But remember, non-existence is impossible. When you exclude the middle and tell your own story, you become more of who you really are. So remember, the only thing you're losing is that ego personality, that limited personality of I am not. But you don't lose your individuality or your individual personality as an aspect of all that is. You never lose that. That will exist and always exist. Forever and ever and ever, right? I am that I am. That's my name forever and ever. So tell your own story. Remember, the great I am is your I am individuality. It's your personal identification as the center of the divine mind. What are you identifying with? That's the question. It's not your separate limited personality or what they call the ego, right? That only sees limitation. That only tells a story of I am not yet who I desire to be. That's powerful today. The illusionary middle is that lower I am personality, what they call the ego, with thoughts of fear, doubt, wanting, and non-fulfillment. All thoughts, feelings, images, perceptions, and sensations that take place within that I am awareness, unlike absolute unconditional love, gratitude, and fulfillment, is not reality. None of them are. You are at the center of all of it, the great I am, right? But that personality right here of I am not, which can be here or here or here, that's the middle. That's the personality of separation seeking fulfillment, not the individuality or the greater personality of all that, of being one with all that is. So do you see it? We hang on to that limited personality fear that if we identify as all that is, if we tell that story, we're going to lose that. You don't lose that. You only ever become more aware of who you really are. You don't lose anything, right? I am not the middle. To exclude the middle is not to lose, hear this, your individuality in your personal expression or personality of the great I am, but to be the conscious center of it, to be more of all that you are. Right? In him we live and we move and we have our being. That's what that means. I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. In him, in that one greater, that subconscious mind, we live and move and have our being. That's powerful thought today. So it's not about reprogramming God or all that is, or awareness or consciousness. It's about telling your new story as the divine center, as the operant power of all that is. Make the center, your I am center, your neighborhood in the great subconscious. Do you see that? Make that your neighborhood versus the seedy neighborhoods outside of that, right? Versus the seedy neighborhood of I am not yet that which I desire to be. And allowing that to tell your story. When we tell the story of I am not, we allow that to be our story. We allow those subjective tendencies to be our story. You can consciously tell your new story now. That's what it means, right? That's what the whole idea of reprogramming means. It's that you create new tendencies, a tendency to connect and be that center of all that is, right? That's why these three reality creation ideas that I've talked about in other videos are taught by all the spiritual greats. The idea of repetition, emotion, and expectation. Three keys to reality creation. Why? Because you repeat that new story, you affirm that new story, you imagine that new story, you tell that new story. And that must be your only reality. It's not repetition in vain. It's repetition from being the center of that divine mind, right? Anything else, let's just look at this. Telling the story from here, or here, or here, or here, or here, then it feels like it's in vain. Because you feel like I am not, but I'm telling the story that I am. Instead, go to the center that I am that which I want to be. And when you repeat that, that must be your experience. That must be your reality. And then the idea of emotion means you are source energy. You are that energy emotion. There's only one energy, and that's source energy, and you are that. So it's about feeling yourself real. Yeah, you might have a 3D feeling, or what we call an emotion, but that's a manifestation of that one emotion that you are, source energy. That's what Neville Goddard means when he says feel it real. It's about acceptance and conviction that it's done. That I am that I am. I am that I am. That I am. That's the center of that great subconscious, right? And then expectation, which is just a knowing that it's done. You expect things to unfold for you perfectly because you are the unfolding. Right? The only facts are your story as the center of the divine mind and all that is. You remember, there are no facts, there is no fiction. It's all your truth, the truth of who you are. That's why these are powerful. That's why Neville Goddard talks about it's about frequency, the frequency that you return to your desired end. In other words, the frequency that you return to your new story. That's why he talks about that idea. And then the idea of feeling it real, or that's what makes it natural, because you are source energy. And then expecting it to unfold because you are that reality. You're that, when you tell a story, that is your story right now. It's not the future. Nothing happens in the future. Nothing happens in the past. It's all your story that you create the past, present, and future right now from your I am story. Do you hear it? That new identity, that new I am story creates it all. The past doesn't create and is not source of anything. The future doesn't come later. Future is created right now by your story. Right? Those are the only facts. This is powerful. The subconscious, or consciousness, all that is, the divine mind, doesn't reject anything. We talked about this idea, right? It is everything. Do you see it? It's not about rejecting anything. It is everything. In other words, you are already all stories. You are already all that is. You are already all identities, all realities, all images, all possibilities, all perceptions, all thoughts, all feelings, they all exist within you. So it doesn't reject anything. It accepts, it includes, and is impressed with all thoughts, all feelings, all images, all perceptions, all sensations. Or in other words, all impressions. Otherwise, it wouldn't be all that is. So it's not about that. It's about what story are you consciously telling? What are you accepting as your story? That's what we're talking about, right? The only question is, what neighborhood are you hanging out in, right? In that great consciousness, or what we call the subconscious. You exist in all of those neighborhoods, everywhere. Are you accepting and agreeing and identifying with the impressions in the seedy neighborhoods of I am not, right? Or allowing the past, others, conditions in the world to tell your story for you unconsciously? That's what it means, this whole idea that you don't have free will. Of course you have free will to tell your new story. But when you're not consciously telling it, somebody else is telling it. What's that something or somebody else? That subjective past, that's just an idea now. The others, the conditions that seem outside of you and separate from you, right? Or on the other hand, are you moving to the divine center, right, of the divine mind, the great I am, the great subconscious, and consciously telling your new story from that center? Are you telling it from the center of who you are now? That's the only reality. Or are you telling it from I am not that person I want to be yet? This is powerful today. Tell your new story. The great I am, the subconscious or consciousness, it's all of that. The question is, where are you? Where are you? What neighborhood are you hanging out in? Are you stuck on what you believe is your past, like things that happened to you in your past, or the conditions around you, or the others in the world? Or are you putting yourself at the center of reality, the center of God, the center of the divine mind of all that is? Where are you? That's why in Scripture, when it talks about Moses is checking out the bush, and God calls out, Moses, Moses, and Moses says, here I am. Or are you saying, I am not yet that person I want to be, unaware of your greater nature? Because that's what it means to be unconscious or unaware. I'm unaware that you're the center of the divine mind. Your new story, your I am story, or what you consciously repeat, affirm, assume, feel as source, and expect, is impressed on that great creative medium. Because it accepts everything. That becomes your impression. That becomes your neighborhood as the center of the divine mind. Right? And remember, if you're at the center of that divine mind where God is at all, the all of God must be. So all of God is with you. Right? Divine mind. So you impress it, that divine mind, and that's accepted as truth or fact, because I am is the one and only reality. So of course it's your truth, it's fact. The whole idea of subconscious, which we talked about yesterday, I've talked about in many videos. Sub means below your conscious awareness, right? Or subjective, or subject to your conscious awareness, or subjective, right? Below and subject to, right? It's subject to you as the door. I am the door. I decide my story. It's subject to your conscious awareness of who you are. That's what positivity means. It means the greater you are aware of your place in the divine mind as the center, more aware of all that you are that I am awareness, the greater positivity you have, because it's not about positive thoughts or positive feelings. It's about positive being, knowing that you're the center of the divine mind. Right? Your story is reality, your truth, your facts, right? Remember, impersonal doesn't mean cold and uncaring, the impersonal subconscious. It means it doesn't associate with any specific personality that is limited and fearful or doubtful. It doesn't see itself separate from anything. That's what the true nature of impersonal means. It doesn't have the personality of separation. right? That personality of separation is irrelevant to it. It's the greater personality of all that is, that I'm not separate from anything, that I am that love, that I am that gratitude, I am that joy that I want. That's powerful. That's what I am the doer means. What and who I am aware of consciously being is impressed, created, manifested, perceived as my life story. Hear it again. I am the door. You are the door to that great subconscious. I am the door to everything I want and desire. I am aware of consciously being. When what I'm aware of consciously being is impressed, created, manifested, and received as part of my life story. As the divine center, the door, I impress and direct it all. That's what true positivity means, to be more aware of your true nature, to be more aware of what was previously your unconscious or subconscious or below awareness story, right? Telling a new story from the center of all stories. Wow. Do you see it? You're all stories. So get at the center and tell the story as you want it to be. Before Abraham, before all the stories, I am. That's what Neville Goddard talks about when he talks about frequency and emotion, right? The frequency, the returning to it, affirming, the repetition, returning to that end. And the emotion, source energy, accepting the acceptance and conviction as source. And the expectation, the assumption of fulfillment no matter what. That's powerful. This technique of telling your new story manifests your new life shockingly fast. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/BeSomethingWonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and for being part of our membership channel. Tomorrow, we have our third live stream of the year. Saturday morning tomorrow. We're gonna come to you live at 9 a.m. Pacific Coast Standard Time, right? March 30, 2024, with our third live stream of the year, where we're gonna answer your questions that you've been sending to us and topics to info@besomethingwonderful.com. I'm also gonna answer some questions on the live chat tomorrow. So this will be our 12th live event and our third here this year on the membership channel. So join us. If you're a member, join us. If you're not a member, there's a link below. Check it out. Creators, we're great love. We're great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios at Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.